Silas
editing.
horsepower, 1 horsepower. Starting contest, I win. This is SportsZone.
That's it. That's it right there.
She's like, you know.
Yes.
Hello, friends, and welcome to SportsZone back after a lengthy hiatus. I am your host, Ben Florence. We are ATV's flagship sports show. First up on the panel, it was a beat to get him here, but Michael Gardner, we are very happy that you decided to show up. All right, how are you, big guy? All right, you need to calm down.
Actually, kind of glad to be here. I'm getting my mandatory break.
Excellent.
Hence
Thank you.
Hence the mandatory from working on this extensive comm law paper. But good to be
I'm done with mine. So.
back in the saddle after a solid week at TMS. Good to be back here.
Excellent.
Back in the thick of things.
Speaking of speaking of comm
He's
law,
gone now.
the only person that is actually finished with her paper, Miss Erin Vale. How are you?
I'm
Proud
great.
of
I
you.
don't think I'm the only one. There's that girl in our class. So I
Okay,
think is also done.
okay.
She lives in Nebraska, apparently.
And
so we'll avoid her.
last but not least, for the first time this year, actually.
Yeah!
Second. No, that didn't count. Mr. Jaron Berman, how are
He's
you,
on
big
the
guy?
panel, yes.
Hello there.
New World Order!
Yes.
Okay, enough with the whatever that
I was
is.
born in
Bane,
this
it's
outfit.
Bane.
Where is
It's
it?
Bane, it's Darth Vader,
Everybody.
it's
Still
awful,
Bane.
is what it
When I
is.
saw the light, I was doing.
Okay, you need to stop, or I will kick you out of this.
Batman's over there.
studio.
He's hanging up on the coat rack.
He's not happy. But on a serious note, the top story right now, really in sports, is what's going on down in Miami. The whole Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin situation broke last Sunday. There was a report that Jonathan Martin had left the team due to personal issues. Then it turns out that he had been quote-unquote bullied or harassed by teammate Richie Incognito, among others, who then said, it was reported by ESPN, he sent him a very, very inappropriate voice message on his phone, calling him a half N-word, among other things, saying he was going to kill his family. But so a lot of questions, and we've seen more and more reporting, Michael, on this, and that's only created more questions. What's your take on this whole situation? Because now you have people are chastising Martin for taking the situation public. Incognito did a well-publicized interview with Fox Sports on Sunday. What's your take on this situation?
Well, some would say it's between just those two guys and that's it. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, he's part of the team, and that's why I'm glad they got the team involved, and then the league got involved. So glad they're launching all these investigations because stuff like this happens, you know, everywhere in locker rooms. I'm assuming because, you know, that happens a lot. But I'm gonna quote Howie Long, like he said on Fox NFL Sunday, that we need to wait for Martin's side of the story. Once we get that, then you can start evaluating how severe or not. But interesting fact, I was looking at the Twitter roll before we went on the air. Mike Tirico apparently on Monday Night Football said a penalty was on Richie Incognito. So just sort of clown he is.
I like Mike Tirico.
Do we?
Tirico.
I will diss Tirico. I'm glad something's being done about this though, because it's good that Martin brought it to the forefront because it could have gotten a lot worse. And judging by some of the slurs and the exchanges, it apparently was.
Yeah, and Aaron, it was weird. People are saying that Incognito and Martin were friends. They apparently exchanged over 1,000 text messages in the last year between them. Incognito said that this message he did, quote, out of love. But it turns out Martin had said kind of sent a similar voicemail to him. So it's still a lot to be discussed. And as Mike said, we're still waiting on Jonathan Martin to speak on this. So what's your take?
Well, I think that, yeah, we're still waiting on that side. I also think that if the communication occurred between them and if it was, you know, a sign of love, we don't really know how genuine either party was with that in terms of that. We don't know if maybe Martin was saying these things maybe in order to appease Incognito a little bit, to maybe get him to back off, or so he could go to the top as opposed to going to anybody else on his team. And I mean, it is happening all over the league. It's happening in every sport. It's just a part of, you know, the culture. And I think that by not going to anybody else on his team, but going to the top, Martin is trying to change that from within, which is really important. So.
And Jaron, Richie Incognito does have a very checkered history. He's been arrested before. He's had numerous variety of incidents going back to when he was in college. There was a report last year or a report this year of an incident last year on a golf course where he sexually harassed a woman.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
And the change
No,
up.
I'm just saying he's ridiculous.
No. Oh, all right. You're on thin ice right now. So, but what's your take on this?
Listen, my take on this is that I can't contribute more than everyone's already said, but there's just two events surrounding this that just mystify me. And maybe the two comm law students can talk about this.
Ugh.
I read about that. No, I read that interview.
Don't
with
ask
Gla-
me.
I read that-
All right, let him speak.
I read
please.
that interview between Incognito and Glazer, and it's pretty clear when I read that Glazer and Incognito, I think, have spoken to each other before. I think they're gonna go. I think they're not. I don't know if they're friends, but they're on good terms. If you're Fox Sports, why would you have Glazer doing that interview?
Well, I can add a little more to that. Jay Glazer did do the interview, and he, along with Randy Couture, operate a MMA training facility called MMA Athletics in Las Vegas, and he trains a number of NFL players. Fox has always says they trust him to do toe the fair line between being a reporter and being kind of like a trainer. And I think he did do a generally fair job.
Most trusted guy in football.
Most trusted guy in football, I guess.
that.
And I think Jay Glazer's one of the top NFL insiders. But enough on that. We'll take a little brighter note. The Carolina Panthers,
Silas's team.
Silas's team, rocking camera 2 right
Hey,
now.
student.
The Carolina Panthers have now won 5 games in a row. A lot of people thought, Jaron, how good really were they? They won 4 games in a row, but those teams they played really weren't that good. Now they went into Candlestick Park, took out a defensive grinder of a game, 10-9 against the San Francisco 49ers. How legitimate of a contender are the Panthers in the NFC?
Oh, I think they could be because you know what? Before this, I thought it was like they won some fluky type of games. You know what? That was a legitimate game. I can definitely say that. And I think and the NFC South was supposed to be very competitive. You had the Bucks. The Bucks were supposed to be. I'm not going to. I guess there's no Shiano. There's no Shiano guys on the Bucks, but they were supposed to be good. You had
Love
the Bucks.
Shiano.
You had the Saints who were doing great. The Falcons were supposed to be great, and you had the Panthers. But I think the Panthers are thriving. I think they can take advantage of some weak conference opponents coming up. I think they can make the playoffs. I can see it.
Aaron, I think they may be good shape for the playoffs. Could this team do even more than making the playoffs?
I don't think that they could do more than the playoffs. I mean, there are a lot of talented players on the team, but the games they have lost have been, last second kind of fight to the finish games where that happens a lot in the playoffs, and I don't think that they have what it takes to sustain that kind of win.
And Mike, quickly, what do you think?
No, because they let my scam Newton.
Oh God.
And on that note, we got more Sports Zone on the way, so stay with us.
Hello and welcome again to Copa 90, where we kick it around the world with all of the great games going on this next week and kind of looking past this pack weekend. So we're going to start off with some Premier League action from the weekend. Big result for Sunderland on the season. First real big win, still fighting the relegation battle. Alan, what are your thoughts on the 1-0 victory over Man City?
Pretty embarrassing defending again. We see Man City going away from home, not being able to score goals, really playing like a soft team. They have a soft spine. They have no drive. Watching the highlights from the game, Sunderland wanted it more. They fought for 50-50s more. They fought as a team to defend and to attack. And, hey, they made use of their opportunity. That's what matters.
So another big result coming on the weekend was definitely the 1-0 win over Man United, Arsenal. A lot of people went into the match saying, this could be one that really decides Man United's season. If they lose this, they'd be all out of Europe, especially Europa. They dropped down, I think it was 9th or 10th in the league, which was just unheard of if Al Ferguson was still managing. But what are your thoughts on the 1-0 win, Van Persie with the goal?
It was honestly a very low-quality match. I watched the full 90 of it. It was very low-quality in midfield. It was very, very congested. Obviously, Van Persie's goal coming off of a really, really fantastic near-post run off of a corner.
But it was a low-quality match, but I think it showed some of the old Man United characteristics that we
Mhm.
were used to seeing under Alex Ferguson, fighting out, grinding the results out against, the old rival Arsenal. Disappointing for Arsenal because a lot of their players were very, very poor on the day. I thought Ozil was especially slack in midfield, very slow. They're
Mhm.
not playing in behind, no penetration with Giroud or Cazorla wide left, and putting Bentner on at the last minute. Arsene Wenger shows a little bit of desperation and shows that those weak points that we've addressed before for Arsenal.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have to pick somebody up in the January transfer window because if you look how they're playing well in the Champions League right now, you saw that really great performance from midweek against Borussia Dortmund. But I think it's going to be how that team responds in the Premier League, especially with so much more money being emphasized on getting those Champions League spots.
Mhm.
How is Arsene Wenger going to balance that lineup between going for the Premier League title, which is very likely right now,
Mhm.
but also balancing the Champions League expectation that's put on such a big club with such big names?
I think getting those results early in the Champions
Yeah.
League was something that was important to them because now they can focus on sort of this November, December, January grind in the Premier League. It really it can define
Yeah.
and break seasons. It's happened with teams in the past. We've seen them on fire and then they peter out through these next 3 months because it's crappy conditions on pitch
Yeah.
and you have to deal with playing 2-3 games a week, and it's really difficult. So I think Wenger is not going to want to bring someone in January, but if he has to play Mesut Ozil, he has to play Olivier Giroud, if he has to play Flamini for full 90s, match after match after match, they're going to get tired.
And that's something we saw in
it's
this
something
match.
we
Was
saw in this match.
Can they grind out these games that you gotta get a result, you gotta get points, but if you can't grind out result now against Manchester when the season conditions are nice, what's gonna happen when you're playing?
Down the stretch, when
when
you're
you're playing
playing
West
Stoke.
Brom in the middle of
Yeah.
when you're at Stoke.
when you're away to
Let's be
Stoke
honest,
in
when
the
you're
middle of
away at
winter,
Stoke
yeah.
and you're still trying to battle for FA points and stuff like that. So
it's difficult, but it's a game. Obviously, Wenger has been around the game for a long time. Their start to the season has only helped them up to this point.
I mean, it can't hurt to get all those points. So, money in the bank.
It's only beneficial.
So now we're gonna go a little international. You got a very big. We like to focus here on CONCACAF, not just the United States. But big news coming out of the Mexico camp. They're not gonna bring any of their European players. Chicharito, Ochoa, all those great European names. New coach said, nope, we're done with them. Not for this time around. We're gonna stick with these guys. We're gonna train with them for 3 or 4 weeks. We're gonna secure this spot. I mean, it's got to make sense if you look at the results in the World Cup stages early on.
It makes sense. He wants to establish. I think the important thing with international teams is establishing an identity, cohesion going.
What is that
forward.
identity, Alan? At this point,
It's ramshackle, really. 'Cause they've
Exactly.
had 4 coaches within the past year
Yep.
and a half. But I think what he wants to do is to move forward as a unit and to make those players, the Ochoa, the Carlos Vela, who's a bit of a strange case.
Yeah.
Gio dos Santos. He wants to make them fight for their positions, not say, this is you, just because you're that name, because you're playing for Man United, because you're playing for Villarreal, you're in my...
Oh, no, he's not playing for Man United,
right? you're in my team,
Yeah.
I think he wants to establish that identity and reinforce that with those players, and it only makes players hungry. We saw it with Landon Donovan.
Yeah.
We saw it with Landon Donovan, how he wasn't given a guaranteed spot. Out in the cold by Jurgen Klinsmann. Klinsmann brings him back in when he's playing consistent football, and he plays very, very well. So maybe it'll work for Mexico. Unfortunately, they have a must-win game. They have must-win games.
These
against
literally
New
all
Zealand.
must-wins.
They're must-win games. It's not friendlies that we're talking about. It's not Hex World Cup qualifiers where we have 10 games in a series. It's 2 games. It's 100 whatever minutes to win and to go to the World Cup. Hopefully it works for them, but we'll see on Wednesday.
I mean, I think one of the main things that this new coach is trying to do, which I don't really agree with, is avoiding those European players saying, I understand the Mexico game. Those players all know how to play in Mexico. They've played in Mexico, those Club America guys. He brought a lot of those guys to really fortify. You'll be able to get a good 2-0 result if you can break the press and parking the bus of New Zealand. But it's what happens when they go to New Zealand for the second leg that I'm worried about. Will those Mexican players be able to play in a totally different environment that they may have never played in before? That's where I think if you could just bring in those European players for maybe that New Zealand leg, have those guys come in, they have experience in those big games, those Confederation Cup games, those World Cup games, and then you can really, because those guys have that experience and that knowledge of how to play in a foreign environment that these new lower level MLS quality players may not have in the Mexican staff.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think driving again, he wants to drive home that point, and this is sort of that first sticking point is here now. You see who who's proving themselves, you guys come back into the fold. So yeah.
All right, well, wrapping up real quick, who you got for the MLS championship?
I want Portland Timbers to win because
Yes.
they're a great side. Caleb Porter is a fantastic coach.
Darling Nagby, you're going to be an
Darlington
American
Nagbe.
soon.
He's going to be an
Enjoy
American
it.
soon. Yes.
Yes,
Also,
we have another striker.
Quick shouts out to AU Men's Club Soccer getting the 1-0 win over Georgetown at the weekend.
Aaron
Final
Johansson
result of the
leading
season.
the league in goals
Let's
in
go.
the Netherlands. So, yeah. All right, well, I think that's going to do it all from Copa 90. We'll talk to you next week. Back to SportsZone.
Hey there, welcome back to Sports Zone. We're going to talk a little college football, our front row segment, if you will. Bring back the immortal Zach Drescher. We got Silas Hill on board for this segment, and then the following segment. So, welcome aboard. How are you, sir?
In here for the long haul.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. We're going to talk a little college football. And now that it seems like we've got a solid picture, 1 and 2 in the BCS. Alabama, who had a pretty impressive victory over the LSU Tigers Saturday night in Tuscaloosa, and now after Oregon fell on the farm to the Stanford Cardinal on Thursday night, you know how Florida State, who beat the snot out of Wake Forest on Saturday, and now they've got an easy road basically to get to Pasadena once they get through the ACC title game. Mike Gardner, is the BCS National Championship game the final edition? Is it already essentially set in a formality? It'll be Alabama, Florida State.
Essentially, yes. But knowing Florida State and the ACC, they always tend to lose to that really bad team that they shouldn't, or in the ACC title game. But not this year's team. That was under the Bobby Bowden administration. Jimbo Fisher and that offense is
okay.
definitely going into the Rose Bowl. I guess is where they're playing the national championship this year.
It's going to be in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually going to be, hopefully, if all the cards align, no upsets happen, be a very good game. Unlike last year where Notre Dame was decent, just Alabama was clearly athletic and better.
Yeah.
This Florida State team has proven they go into Death Valley and smash Clemson, smash Don Marcus's UMD, beat the U, beat just anyone they have in their path. They're a very good team. Yes, I think this is going to be the national championship game. I'm looking forward to it. 2 months earlier.
Yeah, Silas, there's still some undefeated teams. Ohio State, Baylor. But,
Stanford undefeated? No, they won.
Stanford
Utah.
lost to the mortal Utah Utes. Now, so think about it, you got Jameis Winston leading the way for Florida State, and I think Alabama had some doubters. They hadn't played many great teams since Texas A&M, and then they played a solid LSU club led by our good friend Zach Mettenberger, and they beat him pretty solidly.
Yeah.
So Alabama, Florida State, are we ready for that? Are we ready?
I mean, anytime you try to predict anything in the BCS, as we've learned these
It's
past
true.
far too long of years.
Yep.
Could easily just put Baylor in the national championship game.
I mean, there's a very
What's wrong
realistic
with
chance. There's a very realistic chance we end up with Baylor in the national championship. I mean, whatever.
Why?
RG3 respect, DC.
What's wrong with Baylor?
What's right with Baylor?
They're so good. Bryce Petty.
Anyway, so
Tom Petty?
I definitely think we're gonna have
Adam
Alabama
Petty.
in the national championship. I don't really see them losing. This team is too good. They're running through the SEC.
Or not. Sorry.
Florida State, I think they'll be able to handle their business. It's just on how much will they win by compared to Ohio State in this final games. Like that Florida State defense, I was watching the game against Wake. They allowed less than 20 yards passing. Like the other, like Wake's quarterbacks, both of them because they switched them.
Who are they? The Jaguars?
Yeah.
Hey, the Jaguars won.
Their touchdown and interception ratio was 0 to 6, which is just with 20 yards passing.
Fantastic.
That may be one of the worst. If you play fantasy college football, which I don't know who does, that probably would be the
There
worst.
are people to do it.
That'd probably be the worst performance in
AU's
college
football team, Pike could beat them.
Okay, let's calm
Okay,
down. Because
let's
Wake
calm
Forest
down.
did
Calm
almost go. They did go into Miami Gardens and almost beat the U. So it's not.
Well, as we learned, the U isn't all that.
That's fair.
Ain't
They,
no- ain't
they
no
just
Michael
got
Irvin was
smashed
there.
by Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
But we talked about Alabama, and their previous marquee win was going to College Station and beating Texas A&M. Texas A&M on Saturday afternoon, the lead-in game on CBS with the great Tim Brando on the call. We love Tim Brando, and they hosted Mississippi State, a fun game. Mississippi State hung around, but it was Johnny Manziel and co. that dominated, and that was Texas A&M's final home game of the year. And now people are thinking Silas Hill, Have we seen the last home game for Johnny Manziel in his college career?
I don't think we've seen his last home game. I still think he'll play another year. He's still got a lot more to develop. Especially he's got to get that NFL arm, especially those short slant passes that you really, really look for, that pinpoint accuracy. We know he's got the arm. We know he's got the running. But it's just building more experiences, showing the NFL scouts that, yes, I can improve both on and off the field, as if that hasn't been talked about enough. But, I mean,
Hey.
We have no idea what he's doing because his Twitter shut down and ESPN ratings must be plummeting. But, yeah.
Oh, boo.
ESPN, Fox Sports 1.
Friend of the show. No.
I have friends at Fox.
Yeah.
Your man's a fox.
Great man.
But, I think that Johnny Manziel will come back next year.
Excellent.
He may leave as a junior. He may leave on a Heisman because I don't know if he's going to win the Heisman this year just because for some reason he's not getting as much press as he was getting this summer.
Yeah, fair enough. Mike, but some would argue, with the NFL draft, you got to strike while the iron is hot. And that we've seen some guys, they come back to college and then they don't have a great year. Their stock drops. Other people pass them. Do you think that it would be worthwhile for Manziel to come out this year, very deep quarterback class, or do you think that he'll stay, maybe try and lead A&M to the national championship, but you'll lose some more seniors, lose Jake Matthews, left tackle. Do you think that he will return to the Aggies next year?
I think he will.
Yeah.
He takes a big risk, though, because like we've seen with Jake Locker, who was very good his junior year, stayed a senior at Washington, and then plummeted in the draft. But he's done.
No, I think
But he's done
went
solid.
higher in
Yeah,
the
Jake
draft.
Locker doing
But
pretty
he's
good
done
at
solid.
Tennessee right now.
Yeah, he's been all right.
Not as good as what
He's a top
Jaws.
10 pick.
Not as good as Jaws thinks what he should have done.
We love Jaws.
But he should stay. Like what Silas was saying, to deal sort of to mature. Because he probably will have, I wouldn't say more off-field issues, but hopefully his publicity, I would say because his publicity is not
He
going to
doesn't want to be Tebow 2.0.
Exactly.
But we love
That's worst case.
Tebow.
But if you're talking pure football from an NFL
If he wants to
standpoint,
get serious and actually be a legit NFL quarterback, because we've seen guys that have played his style and they've either been adapted to wide receiver like Matt Jones of Arkansas back in Nam.
Why are we
or-
mentioning Matt Jones?
But
Okay.
exactly. If he wants to be a serious quarterback, he should stay, be a redshirt junior, maybe even stay again because the A&M
All right.
policy is to graduate.
All right.
So
Well,
I want him to stay, although he will go to the Pittsburgh Steelers because they're going to intentionally tank once they get rid of Roethlisberger.
trade Roethlisberger.
Pittsburgh needs Johnny Football.
I don't know what that is. And you say you don't want him to be Tebow 2.0, but Tebow stayed all 4 years.
No, I'm talking NFL wise. Tebow 2.0.
Because where is he now?
Tebow. He's going to be a broadcaster, and we've got some more broadcasters on the way. You're watching SportsZone. Hello, and welcome to our NBA basketball segment. What do they call this segment?
Tip drill.
We're calling this tip drill because, I don't know, not my segment. So, I'm Ben Florence. I'm hosting in the meantime, we've got Silas Hill and the great Jaron Berman back from an extended sabbatical for reasons unbeknownst to everybody.
The Blake
Holding
Mamba.
down his knee and down. Oh, come on.
I love Kevin Harlan. Like,
That's the
you
worst
either-
call.
you need to like. By the way, great call in the Kevin Harlan game when they're doing a promo for the HLN show. Cook your ass off. He's like, can I read this on air? He like went in a whole thing with Greg Anthony. But let's talk a little NBA basketball.
Yeah, let's do that.
And I think a team that is, you look at the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
The standings are completely all over the place. It is still early. But can somebody explain to me, everyone thought that the Philadelphia 76ers were going to be tanking this year, going for Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, anybody on Kentucky. But why are they playing so good? They're currently second in the conference, Silas.
I mean, this is still the NBA. This is one of the most outcomes in short term, small sample sizes are very random at times. But you have really good play from your not freshman. Too much college basketball going on this week.
Amen to that.
You have a lot of performance from your rookie, Michael Carter-Williams. But this team is still tanking. Like, they're still rigging for Wiggins. You look at that Drew Holiday trade.
Good trade, though.
Yeah, good trade. Nerlens Noel is not going to play at all this season.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
They're pretty much bubbling wrapping his knee and
Which
saying,
is great.
Yeah. I'm not – if you're trying to – if you're in this NBA, you have to get superstars.
West Side.
And I'm not complaining if they found a superstar in MCW. So, I mean, you got to use it
You
where
never
use
know.
It. Yeah.
Jaron Berman, your Knicks are a
I don't want to talk about
right. We're not talking about the Knicks. It's called a segue.
Thank God.
It's a segue. What is your take on the Sixers that have still at least early on, really taking the league by storm.
Good for them to start this well this early, but man, in 10 games, that's just gonna.
Yeah, they're eventually just gonna have like a 50-game losing
They're
streak.
gonna reach the cliff, and then it's just gonna be really ugly. Because if you remember last year, I believe the Charlotte Bobcats went like 5-4 or 5-3. They started out like pretty decently. For
The Bobcats are good.
Yeah, but you gotta look at Michael Carter Williams though. He's putting up numbers that only one person in the NBA history has ever put up in their first 10 games. That person would be Oscar Robinson.
No,
So
I'm not gonna.
The greatest.
That's pretty good company.
I've seen MCW play in Syracuse. He's a great talent, but to him on the Sixers right now is what Kemba Walker was to the Bobcats last year. Obviously,
Kemba.
Thank you for that. MCW is.
Kemba.
MCW is putting up the better numbers, clearly, but in terms of whether that's gonna be sustained over the entire season, absolutely not. He's gonna league is gonna figure him out. He's gonna temper out. He's still gonna be good, but 10 games. Well, Philly fans enjoy it. 10 games after is just gonna be a dark, cold season.
Excellent.
AKA Knicks basketball.
Yeah.
Oh boy, speaking of, well, not really speaking of it at all, but the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of people thought without Kobe Bryant that they would look terrible. A lot of people thought that even with Kobe Bryant they would look terrible. But thus far, Jaron Berman, the Lakers showing some spunk, playing a lot of good offense thus far. What's your take on this Lakers club?
Steve Blake.
Great player, had a game winner. We love white point guards.
Hashtag Blake Mamba.
Just say that the look on Dwight Howard's face when that game ended, when he made the buzzer. I wish that could just be. I want to print that out, put it on a wall. It's such a great picture. It basically sums up Dwight Howard's Laker year plus the beginning of this season. He's just lost. I think in terms of that game, Dwight needs to take more shots. But the Lakers this year, good for them to start out. Good for them to start with a few feel-good wins. They destroyed the Clippers, I believe, opening night. They got the win in Houston. It's not gonna be an easy year for them at all. But you know what? Let them have a few good wins. I mean, it's good for the league, I guess.
Sals, when do you think that we will see Kobe Bryant return?
I mean, it being Kobe, he'll probably return at Christmas. I mean, Kobe will come back. He'll say, like, I can beat the Heat, and it'll just not happen. He'll get run out of the building.
Well, what if he does?
No.
ESPN.
Why not?
Bristol explodes.
There's a reason why ESPN ranked Kobe outside the top 15 players. He should be outside the top 30. I mean,
but that list.
All right, let's.
That list is
Kobe
Outside the top 30?
You cannot be a top 10 NBA player if you have one shot, and that shot's the elbow jumper.
But he's deadly from there.
That's like saying Mariano's at a great pitcher.
Ray Allen's deadly from the corner three. Ray Allen's deadly from the corner three, and that's a 3-point shot over a 2-point shot.
That's nonsense. You're telling me Kobe Bryant's still not a top 30 player?
He can't play defense. He has no speed.
Okay, look at all the top.
His ankle's gone.
Is Carmelo Anthony a top 30 player? He can't play defense.
But Carmelo brings more in terms of rebounding, passing.
Yeah, because he's a big.
No. This year, Jared, his passing efficiency stats have gone up.
Okay,
that's 6 games.
Okay.
I'm the first to admit it's 6 games.
Now that we're talking about efficiency stats, so we can get more efficiency out of this segment, Silas, again, we cannot stress this enough. Very early, but what have you seen thus far that could shape how the rest of the season goes?
I think one of the things that have really surprised me is just the incoherence of this Houston Rockets team right now. You've got I've heard a lot of reports coming from the Houston camp of Jeremy Lin is not able to establish himself at this point guard spot. Patrick Beverley's kind of taking over that role.
Great player.
James Harden, while he was great last year, he now has more of a responsibility, especially because last year they could just ISO him on the wing because they didn't have any other options. But this year he has to work with Dwight Howard. He has to work off those pick and rolls, and he's really struggling with the new coaching staff.
Jaron, what's your quickly?
Mine real quick is the new delay of game rule. To actually listen, this new delay of game thing, even if a ball just bounces off a player's head, it still counts as a delay of game. So I think it's gonna decide at least a solid 3 or 4 games this year. Just make one mistake at the end of the game, last 10 seconds, some player is just gonna tap the ball because he's used to it, and it's just gonna decide the game.
All right, good stuff, gentlemen. As always, we'll see. Tuned for some more SportsZone. Hey there! Now now it's time for a little AU athletics action here on SportsZone. Silas is still with us. Got our little AU athletics insider panel for you. We know you're excited for it. First up, the field hockey team won the Patriot League Championship on Saturday at Reeves Field.
Jacobs.
Jacobs Field. Come on now.
Jacobs Field. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's Estadio de Reeves
Estadio de Reeves
in Jacobs Field.
Oh, and on that note, they defeated the Terriers of Boston 3-0.
Boston sucks.
All Boston does suck. Hashtag. And scored all 3 goals on the corner. Mike, you were there. I was there. That was a pretty good game. I think you would agree, right?
Yes. Good for them to haven't won it since my freshman year. Nice that they were able to take back the Patriot League as their sort of team slogan was. And winning in convincing fashion. They struggled in overtime in the semifinal game, but mostly as statistics and tournaments prove, if you play the semifinal game close, that extra day or that extra time off, you had a better chance to prepare and refocus. They certainly did that. Defended their home turf, literally the turf. Defended home turf well and won 3-0. I was shocked. It was a great game. Good to see Doc Walker there as well.
Yeah.
Kerwin was in the mix.
Yeah, Kerwin, the
great crowd
classic
that
showing
came
up
out.
with like 3 minutes to go. Somebody got on the horn like, "Hey Neil, I think these
We need
guys
you
are
out
gonna
here. We
win."
need you
Like,
out here.
I'm on the way.
I'll be out there.
And so yeah, Silas, pretty impressive win. First half, a little back and forth. I was live tweeting it. It was great because I had no idea what was going on. But back and forth. But AU had the lead, and then they just dominated the second half.
Yeah.
Got a number of corners. All 3 goals were on
Even when
corners.
Boston pulled the goalie.
Even when Boston pulled the goalie, which
With like
I didn't know
16
you could
minutes
do,
left.
which was fantastic. The game was great. Silas, field hockey, is it going to make a comeback?
To what?
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not nationally, but
Yes.
American. I think it definitely make a comeback. Everybody should come out Wednesday
Absolutely.
at 1 o'clock playing Quinnipiac.
In a play-in game. To
In the
get
playing
to
game.
the
I know
tournament.
some clowns
And
that
if
go
they
to
do play
Quinnipiac.
well, we can always take the
Scumbags.
Metro, just take the red line all the way up.
Yes.
Hop on a little transfer, and you're at UMD, and they'll be playing the number 1 team in the nation.
Yes.
And last time I checked, we could beat the number 2
Yeah.
team in the nation.
Woo!
So why can't we beat the number 1 team in the
Get
nation?
some.
Yeah. Field
Make it
hockey.
rain.
Field
Make
hockey
it
is making
rain.
a comeback. Read the rules though before you go watch it. It's very confusing if you don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
That's
I.
what makes it
The
great.
best thing
Being
was
like that.
these 2 kids that were sitting next to me, these 2 meatheads. They were
Yeah.
eating Chipotle. Like every time the ball would come
Were
in,
they
they were
in
like
a
lying
frat?
down. I don't know what they were in, but they were
Probably.
like, "Whoa!" and it was fantastic. So now we're moving from field hockey, one season in the latter stage. One season just kicking off on Friday.
Tip-off.
Yeah, the tip-off for AU men's basketball 2013-14, the Mike Brennan tenure at George Mason University. And it was a pretty solid game. And AU had their chance of Siles. You, of course, were there.
Yeah.
What's your insider scoop on the game?
It was going into the game. I mean, personally, I'm going to say it now, but I thought we were going to get blown out. Mason was the team that made the CBI tournament last year.
Love the CBI.
They made the finals of their playoffs. Their best player was out this game, so they had a really good, strong shooting forward. They had really good 3-point shooting from behind the arc. I thought that was going to hurt us, but going into the game, and definitely those first 10 minutes, AU was on pace to score 105 points, which, I mean, couldn't say that under the JJ era.
Who? Rest in peace.
Jimmy John's?
Yeah, exactly.
Never been to Jimmy John's.
So anyway, you had hot shooting from Shove, you had hot shooting from Jesse Reed. The defense kind of held. You saw the offense, the cuts were working. You saw the great performance of Pee Wee in that first half until he got under
Pee Wee's fast.
ridiculous foul trouble because the new rules in the NCAA suck.
Yeah, they're outrageous.
We hate.
They pretty
we
much
do not heart
eliminate
handshakes.
Yeah. We don't have to go into this, but we
That's
can
how
all
we
agree it
Texans
sucks.
play.
You know,
We up in
speaking,
their
you know,
face.
it was insane. The Seton Hall Niagara game, which I know nobody cares about, but it was on Fox Sports too. There were 79 fouls called in
Yeah.
that game. That's insane.
It's gonna be a ridiculous year.
Lim calls less fouls than that.
Absolutely, and we love David Lim. Mike Gardner, we of course not go to the game because you had a prior commitment with a little Miss Somebody, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Nancy.
So we
Nancy.
love Nancy,
Nancy Mambo.
Nancy Asheroff. You are a wonderful lady. So Mike,
Gonna miss
does
you.
this tight performance bode well for AU men's basketball this year, or does the fact that we had the chance, couldn't pull it off, portray a season that's going to be kind of very hit or miss?
No hit or miss. Yes to your first question, because if Silas said we were on pace for 105 points,
Come get some.
that is exactly what I said, I believe, on this show and FR months ago.
What's FR?
Famous Ramos?
The hell is that?
I don't know.
Fun radio?
You mean Famous Amos?
Yes, but the Ramones is a band singing the Blitzkrieg Bop. I'm sure the lovely people out there would know.
This is SportsZone.
And you're watching live. Anyway, pace to 105. Fanatic Radio CFR. I said we would win the Patriot League. because We
Yes.
are probably
Okay.
we are talented than most teams. The fact we can hang
but
with
we
me-
haven't seen anybody yet.
Okay, yeah, but Gardner, Mason, if you were at the game, Mason's a pretty bad team this year.
Yes.
Mason's pretty
But
bad.
it gets the morale up.
They had
even-
3 assists in the entire game.
Even with Pee Wee and foul trouble. One thing, Jesse Reeves, I think, was a leading scorer for Americans.
yeah, 15 points.
And he's good. And Jeff Jones never played him. And it's
We
like,
talk about it every time on,
So
on the show.
squandered his talents for an entire year, averaged like
He's
2
good.
minutes. But when he come in, he scored like 9 points.
But Gardner, Mike Burch is really good.
I love Burge.
And where is he
Burge is
now?
from Jersey. He would
We
come
are a
in,
good team.
take a 3, miss like 7 in a row, make another 3. The guy was great. He had great
We loved
facial
him.
hair.
We loved him when he played before. I believe he played power forward for some games.
He was like Steve.
Which is
He was our
where
Steve
are we
Novak.
Going with this, it's a mess. AU is gonna be good, fun to watch. Thursday we're gonna smash UMBC by
4
20.
dunks. We had 4 dunks in that
Yes!
game.
The Jeff
More than
Jones
all of
era.
last season.
Yes!
Exactly.
And the
We're gonna
foul!
win. Brennan brings the sass and the flash to AU. Pee Wee leading it. YY. And then Charlie got in.
Charlie got in the walk-on, the Baltimore boy.
Warren Flood didn't even get in, and he was a walkout. We love Warren Flood. AU is gonna be fun
Warren
to watch.
Flood's on
I'm
the team.
exciting.
As always on SportsZone,
Keep
we
that
give you
funk
analysis
alive.
with authority.
Lob City.
Stay tuned for some more SportsZone.
2, 1.
Hey, and welcome to the Inside Line. This is our but hopefully first of
Not
many
only.
NASCAR segments. I mean, after all, this
Right
is
at the end
the
of the season.
second most watched sport in
Better
America.
late than never.
Of all the crappy segments we have a little week, I think we can have a little NASCAR segment. I am Ben Florence, host of yet another segment this show. We've got Michael Gardner, NASCAR aficionado, Jeff Gordon fan, who sucks.
Sporting the red and
No,
blue today.
no talent. And Silas Hill, whose favorite driver is...
Hashtag Jeff Gordon.
Ew.
Oh, is it Dale?
Yeah,
no,
well,
no one's a Dale.
at least your favorite
Junior,
drivers are
Junior.
doing better than my favorite driver, Timmy Hill. No, it's Casey Kane. But
Casey Kane.
anyways, so as I scooch to the left, make a left turn, we're going into the final race of the NASCAR Sprint Cup season for 2013, the Ford 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. And once again, drum roll please, Jimmy Johnson is poised to win his 6th championship after
Jeff Gordon made
not a
you,
great
son.
Phoenix run, but with Matt Kenseth struggling, but now Kevin Harvick's in the mix potentially. But basically, Jimmy Johnson, all he has to do is finish 23rd or better, and we've seen consistently when he needs to get it done at Homestead, he gets it done. So, Mike, is there any chance that Jeff Gordon is not the champion come Sunday evening?
You mean Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy Johnson. Who did I say?
Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff Gordon will not be the champion, and rightfully so. I mean, we like to have champions that have talent, but
he has talent.
4
No.
championships is
His
talent.
oodles.
yeah. And when did he last win?
Well, when did Casey Kane last win one?
I didn't say he's a title guy.
But to
I
answer
say
your question, to
Thank
get us
you.
back on course after a stop
Back
and
on
go,
track.
stop and go penalty.
an almost starting bark.
We love the NASCAR puns. He'll win it because 23rd or higher. They tested, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before this race, and needless to say, when him and Chad Knaus get something dialed in, they'll get
Oh,
it
yeah.
down to the nth degree, the last inch. And theoretically, that team is unstoppable with those 2 guys, Hendrick Power. Kudos to Chevy, though, winning the Manufacturers' Championship and hopefully winning the title. Because as much as I did want Matt Kenseth to win, and as much as I said he was going to win, he's in a Toyota, and that does not look good if a foreign brand wins the
Really?
the NASCAR championship. I would like to see Harvick win the race, though, but Jimmy Johnson.
How great would that be?
Jimmy Johnson will be running up in the top
Love
10
Harvick.
pretty much the entire day. It won't be fun. Of course, ESPN will try to make something out of it. and
Oh,
that's in
he'll
it.
be like in pit road, and everyone else is like, "Oh no, we gotta leave. We gotta change the points."
Yeah, it's like he's down. He's in trouble. No, it's just a 4-tire stop. So I mean, it's congrats to him though, because six titles.
That's
Granted,
pretty-
4 of them or 3 of them he didn't win. The correct way, but we'll gloss over
Oh,
that in a minute.
what does that even mean?
What does
Playoffs.
it mean?
Okay.
Playoffs.
All right, but
Playoffs.
We're talking about the playoffs.
so Silas, a lot of people thought that now last 2 seasons where 2 seasons ago Jimmy Johnson finished 5th, and then last year where he was battling toe to toe with Brad Keselowski, and it was him that blinked instead of usually who everyone who came in, whether it was Hamlin, Jeff Gordon, any
Smoke.
any
Smoke
of
will
those.
rise.
Carl Edwards,
2014.
any of those guys.
Yeah.
But now, and some people are like, oh, it's a Jimmy Johnson title run possibly coming to an end. But now it looks like he may just be getting started yet again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Jimmy Johnson, he's been dominating this past almost decade now. It's crazy to say. Ever since Jeff Gordon brought him up, doubled the number to 48, it's just been all Jimmy Johnson right now. I mean, him, like Chad Canals, they've got these cars dialed to a tune. Hendrick's doing a great job with the cars these past 2 weekends. I mean, it's just utter domination. And you'd think that a sport like NASCAR would love dynasties. They love long-term. But I don't think Jimmy Johnson has seen the love of. He has, after this year, I mean, pretty much after Homestead, we can almost say after the 400, he will be one in line to be among the names of Tom Petty and Dale Earnhardt.
Richard Petty.
Tom Petty.
Ooh.
And the Heartbreakers.
And the Heartbreakers.
An
Hopefully,
American
Jimmy Johnson will not
girl.
have his heart broken this weekend.
Great town.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he should be considered among those elite, but you never hear people talking about Jimmy Johnson among that upper echelon of drivers.
But is he though? Because we were having that talk, I think on Sunday.
I'd
Put him in a different car, and the results.
Yeah,
would
but
be
that was just a
completely
joke.
Different. I'm thinking
But you could say that
seriously.
about any of these
A
guys
win's
that
a
have won
win.
titles.
A win's a win, you know?
But Kenseth,
Can you say
though,
that about Jeff Gordon if he stayed with Bill Davis racing?
Bill Davis is defunct.
Exactly. Exactly. So guys, so Jimmy Johnson's won all of his titles, coming in the chase for the Sprint Cup. I believe this is actually the 10th edition. It initially came with the immortal Kurt Busch winning it. But do you guys? I know Mike is no fan of the chase, and there's an underlying reason. But what would you do to possibly reform the chase? We've seen NASCAR make changes, go from 10 to 12. Then you add the wild card, change the points. How would you meddle with the chase, if at all?
They've changed the driver's side of it, but the two things that haven't changed is points and location.
They did change points.
Yeah, they did.
They
change
gave more to
points.
wins, but
No, but they changed the points from first place getting 180 to now
Yeah,
it's
180, then 5 and 5. for-
Exactly.
but I mean like points during the chase.
okay.
Points during the chase and location. It's been pretty much the same 10 tracks.
And there's nothing wrong
So
with that.
eventually, and most of those tracks they race in the first 2 calendar months of the season.
Not necessarily.
All necessarily.
I didn't realize that they go to Homestead.
They don't. They go to Texas, Talladega, Martinsville, Charlotte, New Hampshire, Chicago.
They do
or
not
no.
go to New Hampshire the first 2 calendar
Well,
months.
but they already go to that track, so they already have an idea. So you could basically just refix it. But they need to take at least the 12 guys in the chase and give them their own point system. Because if you do that, then you're including the Jay McMurrays
What's wrong with that?
and the Juan Montoyas, the Marcus Ambroses, and they really sort of
Of course, you pick a couple of foreign guys. Why you pick foreign guys?
Because we love foreign guys.
Exactly.
Not as good as Foreigner.
Great man. Jesus, Silas. Okay, I think our director.
Don't break the fourth wall!
Our director. I'll break whatever freaking wall I want. Silas, how would you change the chase?
Gotta agree with Gardner real quick. Break up, make it 12
Hey,
races.
take your
break it-
time.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take my
I
time.
run the show.
You do run the
Road course in the chase.
Yes.
Yeah, road course in
Yes.
the chase. 12 races. You break them up into 4 segments. You take 3 people out each time. Restart points. 5 points to the guy.
Take
who
them
finishes
out.
first.
Yes.
You eliminate them. Last 3 races are just 3 guys. You just do points 3, 2, 1.
Battle Royale.
Battle
You heard
Royale.
it first.
It'd be insane.
We are changing NASCAR as is. Gentlemen, great stuff as always. It's been a great season. It'll be a great race this Sunday. We will see you next season for the Inside Line. I'm Ben Florence. Stay tuned for some more Sports Zone coming your way.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Sports Zone. Now it's time for our favorite segment to conclude the show. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Cue the graphics. Fortunately, we still have Jaron still with us, so that's tragic.
Woo!
So,
That's fantastic.
We're gonna talk. We're
Wait,
gonna. And
Fucking
we're
name brand
unfortunately gonna
apparel.
start off with thumbs. But Jaron, what do you got?
Well, quick thumbs up goes to my friend Benny Florence for letting me be on this segment.
Thumbs up, thumbs
I
up.
know
thumbs
Meme, instant meme.
Unimpressed Ben, right there.
I hate you.
Second thumbs up goes
We love the
to
grumpy cat.
Almighty.
Okay, let him
Second
speak,
thumbs go to
please.
the almighty sports pope, the one, the zon, my princessa. Doing with all you Mongos out there.
Love the Mongos.
All the Mongos, man. Mongo Monday.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
Wait,
Wait a
yo,
second.
yo,
Wait a
Mike.
second. Wait a
So
second.
Andy Pettit's on a starting pitcher. That greatest rant ever.
Oh, the Mets rant? Oh,
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
best rant by far. YouTube
Thank-
princessa. That
That's the
too.
best.
That's the 8-minute Mets rant and the Andy Pettit rant.
No, it's like a
Best
20-minute Mets
And it's the
rant.
best rant I've ever
Him as the
heard.
manager.
Terry Collins.
Terry Collins allegedly still. Quick thumbs down. The New York Mets for if they revealed today. You know the Padres. I think the Spurs have these new camo uniforms. You know, to
Well, it's
support
not
the
really
troops.
new.
Well,
the Padres
no,
been
the
doing
Spurs,
it for
no, the Spurs.
15 years.
Well, shot me down like that. The Spurs uniforms are new. Well, the Mets every Monday night now for the rest of the season are gonna be wearing these camo uniforms. Here's the thing: they're not only are they ugly, no money from the sales of them are going to help the vets. So basically, it's just to take your money. Not even a single penny goes to the vets on that. So they got a thumbs down. Another thumbs down goes to my New York Knicks. They lost by 31. 31 to the San Antonio Spurs at home with J.R. Smith back. Yeah, unacceptable. I
Fantastic.
know the Spurs were in the finals. I know, but unacceptable effort on both sides of the court. There's
Go
a lot of
Knicks.
changes that got to be made.
Good
I can't even go on about it.
All right,
That's
Aaron
great.
Vale. What do you got?
First thumbs up goes to the U.S. women's national soccer team for beating Brazil 4-1 in their last game of the season. Big deal. Hope Solo made 3 pretty incredible saves.
Love that Hope Solo.
Your
goalie
girl.
solidarity. She is my girl. Thumbs down already. Sorry, to Michigan football. My sister goes to Michigan, and my mom went to go visit her this weekend, and they went to the game against Nebraska, and they lost. So that was
Nice.
lame. So I just feel bad for that situation. Another thumbs down to Buffalo sports in general, but that's a pretty consistent theme in my world. Thumbs up to Jaron Berman's Bane impression from The Dark Knight Rises.
He won't do it for the
He
sake
won't do
of
it.
getting
We've
his head
already
ripped
done
off.
But thumbs way up. Best impression I've heard since my friend Libby at summer camp this past summer. Thumbs
I do it for the
down to
community.
this comm law paper that's due tomorrow
Amen.
or Wednesday. Sorry. It was supposed to be 15 pages. It's now 18 pages by way of citations.
Yes.
So sorry, and I added a couple sections in, but that's just what happened. Thumbs up to Mike Gardner's comm law paper because it is going to be flawless. A+ for Mike Gardner's paper. And I'm done.
And speaking of Mike Gardner's paper, get the timer ready for your thumbs.
Yep, thumbs up to Aaron's compliment of my comm law paper because the stretch to get to
Complete
15 pages is a little bit out of the ballpark unless I make because I divide it up into sections, unless I make every page one page single space due to the wonderful double space on Word. They'll go to 2 pages. So by that way, it would get to about 16. And hindsight, I'm not going to do that. My goal is to get to 12 because I'm all about quality, not quantity.
Tell them.
Thumbs up to Ben Florence. For the past 2 weeks, has co-hosted and hosted Fanatic Radio without it getting canceled or calls about any blatant racism or any backlash. He's done a great job taking over while I was gone at the Thumbs Up Texas Motor Speedway. Great weekend. Got some connections to watch Jimmy Johnson win, which made me really frustrated knowing that he can only win in the chase. Because with the old system, who knows how good he would be. Granted, being consistent.
He'd still be leading the points.
Yes, but momentum-wise, he did so bad
Yeah,
to
but
close
what's
out
the
the chase. I mean, no, because no one knows. But I do. And yet no one cares about that. Thumbs up to the elf costume over there. It will not, just because. And
Why?
thumbs up to Jurgen Klinsmann, the U.S. Soccer's head coach. He's willing to poll guys that are currently competing for the MLS playoffs to compete for friendlies. And basically the MLS is the only thing that's mad because they're like, oh, it's during the season. But it's like, no, your country comes first, and getting camaraderie for the World Cup, which, according to statistics, we will do poorly because we've done really well this year, and then the next year we'll do bad. And then thumbs down to the the people showing up to this show.
Yeah.
Because I'm
including you.
working on this comm law paper. I'm in full mode. Got the Bose
You were
headphones
not
on
working on it.
with the noise
Free laundry.
cancellation.
You
So
finally
I am
told me you
in
were
laundry.
I am in the zone.
No, you're not.
And I get
laundry, though.
bombarded with texts and pleads to come and do this. So
Save the
thank
show.
Damn
thank
right.
you. I am
You're
here.
damn right.
But in hindsight, we need more people to come out of the show. So
Come one,
your
come
boy
all.
can get a day off from the show,
From the daily
Yep.
grind.
from the daily grind.
Oh yeah.
But I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. But thumbs down for the Halloween episode not being featured. I was the person from the Village People, and it's no longer there.
what?
Thumbs up to our people
Yeah,
in the
it's great.
back, breaking the fourth wall by laughing. We could probably
You mad at me
we
for
could
breaking the
probably
fourth wall.
hear them. We are
Yay, Lesha.
kings of the
So-
fourth wall. And thumbs
Not
up to AU Athletics, the men's soccer team. Hopefully they pull it off and at least get to these semifinals and finals so I could go see them play Navy. Because ever since they lost to Loyal, they, knock on wood, have not lost since.
Yep.
L'chaim.
And thumbs down to the Patriot League because it's just so
We
rigged.
love the Patriot
'Cause
League.
it's so rigged. But I'll get if you
Great
watch
part of
my
the
AU
show.
Athletics segment, I'm just finishing a rant that I already started.
We love rants.
And thumbs up to Fanatic Radio. It's back on Friday.
All right, first thumbs up to me. Please tell me you're done.
You just give yourself a thumbs
you
down.
just-
Just so you
Oh,
know.
and
You just went thumbs
You
up
went
to
up
me.
first, thumbs up
Flow
to me.
meme. Flow me. Drop the mic.
Can we? Oh Jesus Christ! All right, first thumbs down.
Love Jesus.
Go.
Press
Oh my
Sports
God.
Zone. He's a great friend of the show.
Sports vote.
All right, first thumbs down to me for when I was actually hosting Fanatic Radio with our intern.
Intern of the year.
Mr. Graham. I forget his last
Burns.
name. Graham Burns. Great guy, by the way. Had a great talk. But it actually started. I started the show on mute for a good 30 seconds, so there's literally nothing. We're playing the intro.
Were you
music.
what? You started on mute? What
I told you that.
What episode?
This is the one on Friday.
Oh, so it's only.
I mistook the on and off mic, so the music ended. I pressed off, so I then realized that had to reintroduce the show again.
I think it
So-
just went straight from the music to when you started talking.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
but I did.
BTR
But it was
rolls
on mute.
like that.
Yeah, but anyways,
We got good ratings though.
we always get good ratings when I
radio.
host. We get better ratings when I host than with my host.
Well, Ben's on.
Ben's on. They're giving me the wrap
Guest
up
of the
because-
show. Yeah, just look at that.
Um,
A whole panel of F1
Thumbs
people.
down to Deepak because Deepak
Yeah.
is like, I can't make it tonight. I got a lot of homework, so I'm like, okay, no problem. He's like, oh, but you can't give me crap because I've made it to every episode. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna give you crap for that.
He made a fool out of me in public today.
He
Okay, Karen.
Okay, we
stinks.
don't. Okay, Sharon.
Literally and
goodbye.
figuratively.
Goodbye to that. Another person that's not here is David Lamb, but I'm gonna give him a.
Who? Oh, he's a ref, isn't he?
I have no idea.
Gotta make that
He's
money.
rocking
Major
the
league thumbs
pinstripes.
up to
Make that
David
money.
Lim because I had issues with my computer last week, and the only person on this show that would help me out was David Lim.
Lim.
Never thought I'd hear him say
Lim.
that. Thumbs up to everybody interrupting me while I do that. Thumbs up to the girl that's calling Mike right now. I'm not gonna say her name
Ooh.
because
I
of.
think I know who it is.
I think
Do
we
it.
all know who it is.
Ooh.
That's what.
No call.
Missed call.
This call.
Uh,
Not now, Mom.
Miss LC is all I'll say. Another
Conrad.
thumbs up
Lauren Conrad.
to
Yeah.
a good
She's
friend
a
of
great
mine
friend of
from
the
back
show.
home.
My dream date.
I know these kids are a-holes, but gonna give a
Popping
thumbs up to a
collars.
friend of mine from home because I started a fight with his girlfriend on Instagram
Straight flexing.
because I was taking video of the Boston game, field hockey game. I said Boston sucks. He says, and he's visiting with his girlfriend in Boston, that Boston sucks. So now they've been fighting over whether Boston sucks or not, and it's fantastic. And on
Wow.
that note, thanks to everyone on the panel, for the most part. Thanks to everyone in the back, everyone rocking camera. You guys are stars. Everyone who edits, I wonder who that is. ATV, you guys are great. This has been SportsZone. Stay
Short
tuned
sleeve
next-
shirt. Wow.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, Nick, for next week's episode.